India also says it wants to buy as much Iranian oil as it can. So what is the point of the EU embargo if Iran can just so easily find other buyers?
Well, to be clear, Rory, this is not in favor of European interests, what we are doing there with this stupid and senseless and also wrong embargo. And what we clearly see is that this happens upon Washington's wishes. So we have a few countries, Greece in the forefront with 25% of its overall oil imports in 2010 coming from Iran. But then we have Italy with 13%, Spain with 10%, Germany next to nothing with 1.9 billion barrels per year. So this is just, I think, 1-2% of our overall imports. So in this regard, some of the Europeans have even problems fulfilling the embargo. Italy got a total exemption because they are not, paying cash to Iran, but Iran is paying its debts to Italy by delivering oil, so that will continue anyway. Is exempted from the whole embargo. Greece has a special time. Their main focus is not going on the oil embargo, it's going on their bloody debt crisis. So we do have a lot of European, mostly homemade problems. Now, in addition to that, we have problems with this oil embargo. And as we see on the other hand, Iran will do, I just spoke to some Iranian friends, Iran will do quite well even under the embargo. That will also lead to nothing much. We have heard the gold rumors, and we know that all the present faithful customers to Iran oil are set, like Russia, China, India, and many others too, to continue buying this oil, and they will find a way, rest assured. This is what the signal I get from Tehran.
Let's just get this straight here. As you're suggesting, this is essentially a part of Europe kowtowing to Washington's wishes here. Washington saying that an embargo on Iranian oil will cripple the Iranian economy. Here we have, as you saying, that this embargo will severely hurt the European Union economy. Do you think the EU recognizes that cheaper and vaster quantities of Iranian oil will now go to two of the leading economies in the world, that of China and India?
They are very well aware of it. I was personally present when the deputy economics minister of Iran was talking to, foreign society here in Berlin. And the gentleman said very openly to the shocked audience that, okay, you don't want to buy our goods, well, the Chinese will do. So that's what, happened in that situation, that there was, a blasting silence in the group. And I think everybody here is aware. So we have another ministers' meeting in May, scheduled in May. That was already, fixed when they fixed the decision of the embargo itself. So maybe in May, we have some kind of reversal. I don't know. I'm not very sure. In any case, what we will have, and that is very serious, the military side of it. So we had two air fleet aircraft carrier groups passing into the Persian Gulf. That is a serious story, because from another ship, the helicopter carrier, in this group, attacks are flown on Iran. And,
I'm so sorry to interrupt. I do apologize. We're running very low on time here. As you say, there's an international presence building up in the Arabian Gulf there. French, American, Israeli ships as well going in as well. If I may very briefly here, Israel said recently that though Iran continues to improve its nuclear capabilities, it's not actually building nuclear weapons. The IAEA didn't present any proof that Iran's nuclear program has a military slant. Why do the US and Europe continue to pressure Iran?
I think they do that for home consumptions. I think they are in any case, building a propaganda case to, pacify their home populations. Nobody in the world believes that the last report from IAEA was in any way correct. It was based on rumors, on false and fabricated documents. And I was there in Vienna when the Director General presented his paper, and he said, well, we thought, the pressure from this nuclear program is built building, so we filed this report. And in fact, like this, he explained why he was using all this bad information, which El-Baradei, his predecessor in this job, very wisely had never used. So this is the situation we have with this fake report, a bad report, a damaging report, and a report which makes, steps by the US against Iran more likely, but this is all show. The real thing is America is under high pressure. It's bankrupt in a way. They need more billions of dollars to be generated as a steady flow in trade. This is, in fact, being damaged by this embargo. This is why it is really utterly stupid, even from the US viewpoint of interests. So for this kind of situation right now, we have, in fact, military pressure building on Iran, and what they want is regime change. This is what they say. This is not about oil. It's not about the nuclear program. It's about regime change. They want a regime which is doing Washington's wishes. That is all. And whatever means they can throw in, somehow desperate this time because of the bankruptcy of both the European system and the American system, that is the situation we face. We face this urgency from the West, and it's not based on, facts or solid policy or wise counsel. It's based on hectic affairs.
As you say, economic warfare, military pressure in the region, ultimately all of it boiling down to that of regime change. Christoph Horstel, government consultant and political analyst. I wish we had more time. We don't. Thank you for coming on our...
As the US has imposed new sanctions on Iran, India seems determined to keep importing Iranian oil, which is crucial for its energy security. India's economy has been growing at around 8%, and India imports around 12% of its oil from Iran. The Prime Minister Manmohan Singh has said India's growing energy needs will be met only through imports. Now India is trying to ensure a steady supply of oil to every part of the country.
India needs Iranian oil, and more importantly, India needs stability in West Asia and the oil routes, including the Strait of Hormuz, because that directly affects the price of oil in India and the Indian economy, and therefore there are huge stakes for India.
Iran provided about 16% of India's crude supplies. However, that has now fallen to 12% since the Reserve Bank of India dismantled the Asian Clearing Union that was used as a clearinghouse for trading with Iran. This forces India to look for other international banks for routing its payments to Iran.
If America is to make its sanctions work, it has to get the international community entirely in its side of the ring and then twist Iran's arm and not try and do it piecemeal, because sanctions don't work even if the most powerful nation in the world single-handedly wants to go with it. Because in the case of Iran, there is a lot of give and take in energy related matters and other security dimensions between Iran, China, Russia, and some of the other neighboring countries, and none of them are entirely convinced that America's case is right.
It remains to be seen how Washington would respond to its allies like Japan, Turkey and South Korea as they seem to continue importing Iranian oil. Indian Foreign Secretary Ranjan Mathai will be leaving for United States soon, where he will seek waivers on Iran sanctions, since India's major oil import comes from Iran and is crucial for India's energy needs. Sanjay Sethi, Press TV.
Osama bin Laden's compound in Pakistan will be destroyed once and for all, according to Pakistani officials. And it will be taken down in spectacular fashion. Military chiefs are planning a live broadcast of the destruction. The shelter will be hit with rocket-propelled grenades before being bulldozed. They want to ensure the site does not become a shrine to the former Al-Qaeda leader.